Hey everybody, welcome back to season three, actually the finale of season three of the box office here at the Hot Cones and Popcorn podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Brianna.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Danielle.
And one of the things we like to do here on this podcast is review movies and Black culture that we should have seen by now and we just ain't seen. And at the end, we like to discuss our thoughts and feelings as millennials. And then we rate those movies out of 1 and 5 hot cones. So either real good or real bad. And the season three finale for the box office is going to be Trading Places. Trading Places is a movie that was written by Timothy Harris and Herschel Wingrode. It was directed by John Landis, and it had a very star-studded cast at the time. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Ralph Bellamy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Donna Michie, Denholm Elliott, and many, many, many more. Okay. So if you have not seen Trading Places is a movie that was released on June 8th, 1983, is rated R, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 58 minutes. Trading Places tells the story of an upper class commodities broker and a poor street hustlers whose lives cross when they are unwittingly made the subjects of an elaborate bet for $1 to test how each man will perform when their life circumstances are swapped. Yeah, so we like to talk about highlights and lowlights, but first we like to just generally talk about how we feel about the movies. So, ladies, how did you guys feel about Trading Places? What was the feelings?
Well, I think it was an enjoyable time. I gotta say, I was kind of locked in. I think it was to me, it was a very engaging movie. It was easy to follow along. There was great actors in it. There was a little plot twist in the middle. The whole bet being $1 was kind of diabolical, if you really think about it. But then again, the rich, they do what they want. So, yeah, I had a good time watching this movie, I must say.
What about
Well,
you? Oh,
I was locked in, I will say. I had a good time that was wildly overshadowed, which I'm sure we will get into. Like, I can't even think about anything else, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I will say,
Mm-hmm.
there were I don't even know where to I should have collected my thoughts first. Because I will say, like, there was a lot about the movie that I was interested in. I was invested, the idea of this whole thing being a bet is kind of like, oh my God, that is like very sinister. And I highly disagree with everything going on right now. I disagree. However, I do like to watch the rich get a taste of their own medicine every once in a while, but also it was still a lot. Like to the point, well, okay, I'm about to go on a tangent.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
end it at
Mhm.
I was interested.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, I thought, as someone who's very familiar with the Stanford Prison Experiment, I was like, oh, this is giving Stanford Prison Experiment, but like with regular people, like interacting with the world, not just in a fake prison. I was talking to my mom about this movie last night, and I was like, y'all just did whatever in the 80s. Y'all was just figuring it out. I was like, I would think certain concepts at that point would have been known to be bad, you know.
Hmm.
However, I don't believe that it was the common folk of the world creating these movies. It wasn't the everyday person creating this movie, but it just, yep. So,
Yeah.
um, let's
Mm.
let's start with the lowlights today. Let's
Oh
start.
Lord.
Let's just
Oh, oh Bree.
so let's let's get into that. How did What were our lowlights for this movie? I think there are a couple obvious ones.
There's a few. There's a few.
Can we just get it out the way?
Yeah. Which one? Which one do you want to get out? The constant N-bombs?
You know?
Blackface?
Or the full-on Jamaican blackface?
Yeah, which one?
Let's just start with the blackface because
Okay.
I have when it came in, I put in all caps blackface with about 15 question marks. Then I have 3 more notes about the fact that the blackface is still there. And then that's it. Like I think I stopped taking notes after that because I was just like,
Yes.
what is going on? Actually,
I can confirm my last note was blackface with a million question marks.
Yeah. Mine was not expecting blackface.
At all.
Honestly, the N-words honestly did not surprise me as much. This genuinely surprised me. I was like, there were so many other avenues that could have been taken. But your costume, first of all, why are we going into costume for New Year's? What, is that a new thing? Like
I have a question. Because it seems like it's a thing back then. No?
Was it?
Because it wasn't just them dressed up. It was like a whole train of people dressed up.
Right.
I think it was just them. Because, like, I'm pretty sure when Harry Met Sally came out in the same time, which is another sidebar, this did not feel like a Black movie, okay? Harry Met Sally is a very white movie, just like this one, okay? And they did not dress up for New Year's and When Harry Met Sally. So I don't know.
I don't think this is made for Black people.
This was not for Black people. I was offended like 50% of the time. I was upset.
Yeah. I was intrigued, but I was like,
It was the same. Have y'all ever seen Gone with the Wind?
No.
Okay. It gave me the same energy, like racist, but you know,
right. You know, I was like I said,
crazy.
Locked in, but some issues, you know, it was just so unnecessary. It like I'm surprised that Eddie Murphy was like okay with being in that scene type of thing.
So me and my mom are also talking about this, and I was like, maybe I just give the people of the 80s too much credit of common sense.
Yeah, maybe
to not be making stuff like this outwardly. I'm going to assume a couple of things. I'm going to assume this was probably Eddie Murphy's like first big movie because this was very much towards the end of the 70s, and I know him as a big 80s comedian. So I figured this might have been one of the first movies that he did. And you know, much like the Blaxploitation era, there's a lot of movies that, of course, Black people wish in the acting career that it was a different type of movie, but that's how they got their start, and they weren't really in a position to talk about it. So yeah. I did understand why he would be in such a movie. You know,
sorry, Brie, you are right. So this was before he was even on SNL. He didn't join SNL. He was. It said, yeah, no.
Didn't start until like the mid '80s, late '80s. So
this was his second movie.
Oh wait, no, sorry. He left SNL in 1984. He started SNL in 1980. This was 1983. So this was his second movie ever. So that makes sense.
I personally have never really been I think Eddie Murphy has a great smile. I did not like the way they used his smile in this. I don't know how to say it. I feel like showing all your 32 in such a movie is a little I feel like they had to make his character still likable to white people.
Yep.
He was dancing a little bit, just a little bit. You know,
a little shucking, a little jiving.
Just a little bit. I also think this is a horrible brokerage assassin man, whatever he was, for you to not notice these people because they had an accent. Like, I'm more than sure you know Eddie Murphy is working with that uncle grandfather combo or brother, whoever they were to each other. I'm more than sure you've recognized him before. So I don't really understand.
Wait, it really doesn't make sense because he was the one that told Jamie Lee Curtis's character to go and hit on the guy outside of the police station.
Yeah, you know? I would like to think this. You know what? I feel like they were still making movies at this time with obvious plot holes, and people didn't really understand the issue with plot holes, because the fact that like the butler was in there speaking in an Irish accent, clearly recognizable. He spoke to Jamie Lee Curtis's character. He knows who Eddie Murphy's character is because he knows the plan. You know who the nephew is, or the man about to be the nephew, and the only reason why you didn't realize he was in characters because there was a suitcase situation when the suitcase had already been switched anyway. It was a lot of shucking and jiving. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of shucking and jiving, and I do not blame Eddie Murphy at all. I'm sure this is like one of those movies I can see people being like, And I understand what was wrong with that movie back then. Like, I could see people who participated in this movie who's still alive being like, yeah, it was a little, this movie cannot be. And it's crazy. This movie actually can be made. And it can actually be made with race not even being like a point of view.
Right.
But
race was not even like it. Yeah. Like his race came into play only because they cast a Black actor. Like, this could have been anybody.
Well, no, they were racist.
They were. But like, it could have been a poor white person. You know?
I'm trying to see.
I don't know. The racism really is taking this down multiple notches.
It is, yeah.
For me. Like, I really can't get past it. The N-word.
And you know, we hear that.
We hear, yeah.
More than we would like in these
it's
movies.
The 80s.
Hard,
but I still didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and the thing that really pissed me off, really just grinded all my gears. Eddie Murphy, the Black population, well, the ones with common sense, we are actually expected to believe that Eddie Murphy teamed up with him at the end. I don't know. I find that unrealistic.
And he was fully still also racist.
Still racist. I don't agree.
His character was not like a redeeming person. Like he was not nice. He was just upset. And you know what? Go ahead, Danielle. I know you had a thought.
To be fair though, right? I can see someone like Eddie Murphy teaming up with someone like him, like if it was real life, only because he heard what they said in the bathroom and he heard that this was all a wager and all that stuff. He wanted revenge. He teamed up with this man for revenge, not because he's like, you know what, he's a cool dude. Now, them going on vacation together.
I was about to say, that's not what vacation.
Very unrealistic.
That's a lot. I guess I see the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. I get that. I think them teaming up together to take down the other two and make them $300 million in debt, love that. I was like, exactly. That's what I wanted to see. But then we all going on vacation.
Crazy.
That's where I was like, okay, we're dragging it. We don't need to be best friends.
Also, low key, I do think that the rich man, what's his character's name? The white man?
Which one?
The main one.
Which one?
The young guy?
The young one. The one who was the subject of the bet. I'm looking Louis Winthrop.
Oh yeah.
I will say, to go from being super rich to being in jail and like literally having all your credit cards in the 80s being stripped away like that is life-shattering. Like severely, like the man tried to unalive himself. Which was my jaw dropped. I did feel a little bad in that moment. I did, because like I get it. But I will say, dare I say, I don't think that it went far enough. I feel like for you to really understand what it's like on the other side, you have to go home, okay? You need to learn what it's like to pay a bill or 2 or 3. You know, you need to know what rent is like, what Social Security is giving. You know what I mean? I feel like they could have extended this bet at least 30 days. Let him live 30 days in an apartment or however, like literally go to Eddie Murphy's home. I don't feel like there was enough emphasis on that to really get into the life swap. Like it was, obviously it wasn't about the Black people. So they didn't do all that, but I feel like it would have really nailed it in a little bit more if they did. Like Eddie Murphy living this super lavish life. And I'm glad that he asked a couple questions in the beginning. He was like, okay, I know this can't be real. Like you're kidding. They harped a lot on like his lifestyle change and all of that, which I understand, but like, I don't know, I would have liked to see a little bit more from the other side too, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
honestly,
mean, sorry, go ahead.
I think it's so like it's kind of crazy, right? Because watching this, I feel like the older guy, the older white dude was making sense in terms of talking about that, you know, depending on how you grow up, you know, your circumstances can absolutely affect how you're able to do things, right? And we know at this time, you know, this is post Martin Luther King getting killed. So we know at this time they are not trying to, they're trying to continue to make race a gap, right? Because they could have easily casted a white person to see if the change is made. But obviously there's this idea, like the nephew said, that Negroes are stupid and they probably would be stealing stuff forever, you know? So that's it. It didn't like the grandfather, he was kind of scary to me, honestly, because he really on the outside sounded like he had common sense. But when you go down to his methods, it's very like I feel like he's way more dangerous than the nephew as a person in society because he was like he understood the concept of race and still was racist. You know, and I feel like to actively choose to still be calling people the N-words and things of that nature and understanding like he was like, oh, of course we just got to figure out how to get him back out of this. Like we're not gonna let him run the company. We just want to see. It almost gave a little bit of Get Out to me. Like it was giving a little bit like untrustworthy, you know.
That was scary. Like you playing Puppet Master and just playing with people's lives like this was terrifying and honestly hit a little too close to home. It really did. I mean, I was afraid of him. And I made a note about like how fucked up this is to give someone their dream life and hate them to their core and laugh and like, oh, I didn't like, oh, that's sad, completely wrong with me. And I really want to know how this was received by Black audience and white audiences when this came out. I mean, it won 2 BAFTA awards, which says a lot.
I think Black people were cackling, and that's only because it was okay back in the day for these type of things to happen. I mean, what were Black people really gonna do? They this was still the 80s. I feel like if it came out like in the 2000s, that'd be something different. But like, I feel like if you look at older shows like Sanford and Son, which I love for Sanford and Son, so don't come for me. I have it in my whole episode. Sanford and Son, um, well, All in the Family is not a Black, but anyway, when you look at stuff like that, that type of humor was very popular. That type of like race baity humor was very popular. They were still making things for white audiences, and Black people just had to go with it. So I think a lot of people, a great example of this, and I wrote this down because it made me mad, was Eddie Murphy's character when Lewis came in and was like trying to plant the drugs and stuff on him, whatever the case may be. And then it was like, well, maybe he just needs like someone to understand what's happening, da da da. And Eddie Murphy's character was like, no, I know those type. And they are not trustworthy. Trust me, I know, I come for that. And Black men, y'all be doing that. And I don't like it. Okay? Because he was fully ready to be like, oh no, people like that, like he wasn't just that person. People like that, But now that you didn't heard they made a bet, now your feelings hurt. But it's like, whatever made you think that you was on a good side from the beginning? You not one of them. That's the end. At the end of the day, you're not one of them. They control how race is used. Okay, we know money is power. You could be the network of Beyonce and Jay-Z. If they don't want you in their space, you're not getting in their space. Like it's not this like that really irritated me to the degree, especially with this presidency that's about to happen, because there really is this individualistic mindset of people where they have to feel like, oh, well, it's not affecting me. Like you were literally in that position a week ago. And now you just like, oh no, I know those kind. Nigga, you are those kind. You was pretending to have no legs and work and be a soldier in Vietnam for money. Like, what makes you any better? And I feel like this happens, maybe not in the same way. Obviously, they're not switching lives for Black people. They ain't that generous. But I feel like we see this happen all the time in politics, in media. These men get a little bit of money and think they hot shit. And then who comes and humbles them? The same person that gave them the money in the first place.
Yeah. I think that's why, I think more so than the whole movie, I like the theme of the movie, because honestly, it really shows things that happen in real life. Like, a lot of times rich people are willing to, play with other people's lives. Like, they don't care what the consequences are because it has nothing to do with them. And that also falls into race, because they specifically wanted to choose someone like Eddie Murphy's character, who was from the ghetto, as I said, who he was like, he probably has previous records, he probably has this and that. Like, he was generalizing him, and they picked him for that reason. And so I honestly think that, even though, like you said, in the 80s, people probably took this movie as just a comedy, it was a laugh, whatever, but they had a lot of interesting topics in this movie that probably went over a lot of people's heads. So, like, I think that it's deeper than what people were looking at it as. But
I think that was on accident. I truly do not believe it was made to be that deep, because it wasn't made
at all.
I think I can speak for everybody. I don't think Eddie Murphy's character learned shit. I don't think he learned shit about anything. I think he just was like, let me, like you said, revenge on my mind, and that's it. I don't think it even remotely processed to him that these people are using your life as a game. And they're not only using your life as a game, they don't care about you. The man who they switched with don't care about you. He still didn't give a fuck about you when you switch lives. He felt you were the most undeserving because you were a Black person on the street. And now you on an island with him, a kiki and showing all your 32.
Crazy. And now that white man is rich again.
And he's rich again with his money that he was going to get anyway from inheriting it.
But that's why he didn't care. That's why Valentine didn't care, because he got rich too. So he was like, you know what? We buddies now. Like,
that's that individualistic mindset. Right. He got what he wanted out of it, so he don't give a damn about what happened to anybody else. It's like, okay, so what you gonna do? Like, if something for like, I feel like I don't know nothing about Billy Ray Valentine's life, but I think it is kind of insane that this happened and he just left his whole entire life behind. His friends, his family. I was like, for money, that's when words like sellout and things start getting thrown around, and people don't like it very much. But it's like,
yeah, I was thinking that also, like, they didn't give him any like character backstory besides being poor and Black. Like, the other main character, because there are very clearly two main characters here, but the other main character, we saw his whole life, like his friends, his family, his credit cards, the whole lifestyle. And like, once again, that's how you know it's not for Black people. Like, they did not do Eddie Murphy justice. They didn't give him any kind of grace as like an actor to really get into the backstory of his character besides poor Black con man. Like, I don't know.
And like, laugh specifically.
And he was funny. I chuckled.
Eddie Murphy was Eddie Murphying, but his character.
Yep. It was like a slap in the face. Like, I don't know.
When he had the party at his house. Now this, I was like, okay, this is very.
And that's when I first started feeling that way, when they had the party at his house.
And everyone was like, dropping glasses and going up to the bedroom. He was like, wait, hey, hold on. Now get a coaster. What are you doing in the bedroom? Come downstairs. I was like,
did you not just pick these people up from the same bar that you was at?
Like,
but now they're not good enough for you because first of all, you're the stupid one for throwing a party on a Persian rug. Why would you do that? That's not smart. With a bunch of people from a bar that you don't even know. How's about to smell like the bar? Like I don't understand. I don't understand. Like it was such a quick switch. He got some money and his nose was up in the fucking air.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, Mama Sita at the bar and stuff too good for you now? Interesting.
Right. And unfortunately, that does seem realistic. Like,
It
and
is.
that's like the whole point of the bet. But like, it was just hard to.
You know what it reminded me of though? That's kind of how when you grew up in your mama's house and you was just doing whatever, you was whatever. And then you get your place for yourself and now you like, nah,
Yeah.
put a coaster down. Okay. Don't do this. Don't do that. That's what it reminded me of, honestly. I was like, yeah. But the thing is, they kept saying, oh, this is your place. And I think he knew from the jump, like, this is not really my place. Like, because he kept saying, like you said, what's the catch? Like, what's going on? But I also think that Eddie Murphy's character was just very dumb. Because these two white men pull up in a limo, pick you up from jail, bail you out from jail, drive you to this mansion, and then they say that it's yours. Why wouldn't you think something is wrong? Like, I don't know. And then they give you a job, they give you a limo with a butler and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, in my mind, first of all, I'm not getting in the car with two random white men and letting them drive me away.
They weren't random white men. They were the men who put him in jail.
Right.
Like,
they were the men who put him in jail. That's why he didn't want to get back in the car with them because they put him in jail.
Right. And I'm like, so you don't think they're trying to like,
that's what I would be thinking
that's
about.
what I would think.
Like,
the brain clearly wasn't there because if, to your credit, what you're saying, Danielle, if he thought, excuse me, this is not really my house, so I feel like I got to keep everything clean. Why would you then go invite a whole bunch of strangers from the bar into your house?
Including two that you were in jail with.
There was Loki finna beat your ass.
Right.
At the bar. See, this is that ego shit. See? Mm-hmm. And now his ego, he was like, oh wait, I'm money. Y'all can't be putting out cigarettes on the rug. Blah, blah, blah. You're in a bar in the 80s. Like, did you think they were gonna be proper, your idea of proper when they got into the house? Like,
they were already drunk at the bar. Like, you know, they're drunk now.
I was like, it annoyed me that I was like, wow, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. It really is. And like, what's crazy about it is, I don't even think he was the main character. I think he was the last source. But Dan Aykroyd's character was clearly the main character.
Yeah, so comedic relief.
He was just the comedic relief. I think that they spent way more time on his backstory, how he was feeling. Also, this is like a complete side note. I just never thought I'd have to see Jamie Lee Curtis naked, but here we are.
Yeah.
Let's get into the titties.
Okay.
Because honestly, I know she looked back proud. Okay,
proud. You should.
Up. I said, I know that's right. Get him at your best.
They said pew pew, baby.
Pew. But now let's talk about her pew pew character. Because why are you taking this man in and babying him?
So because here's my problem, right? Again, the common sense in this movie, the characters did not have it. This man says, I'm going to go to the bank and get you the $20 for the cap or whatever it was, or $50, I don't know. They go to the bank, they confiscate his credit cards, which I found hilarious. But they confiscated his credit cards and they're like, get out. And then she's like, come with me. Why? The man is broke, first of all. Second of all, we just saw that he got out of jail, right? You don't know him from Adam. So why are we taking him to your apartment. Like, I don't understand the whole random men thing. And then she was like, you're gonna help me get rich. How is he gonna do that? I mean, clearly he did, but how is he gonna do that if you just saw him get his credit cards confiscated? Like, I want everyone to think straight for a second, because she said I will give her that. She had a plan, okay? She said she had $42,000 or however much in her, like, saved up, and she was going to retire soon. And I said, you know what? Period. Like, you had a
You
plan.
wasted that on a random ass man.
You said what?
Who just broke up his relationship with over like $20
Right.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was rough. I was
in
like,
person,
yeah.
outside. You went down.
Down.
You went down
In front of the police station.
in front of the police station.
It was a choice. And she, for $20, or no, it was $100.
$100.
Whatever. Still, $100. Live your best life. Could have gone back to jail, but
And speaking of $100, I will say I had www.usinflationcalculator.gov pulled up the whole time because I needed to know. $100 in today's time is 316. So let's just.
Okay.
I was like,
I can see why she did it, but also my question still stands of like, you just went and ruined this man's relationship. Clearly, I don't even, okay, she let him live with her. Let's just ignore the fact that shit, they be doing shit like that in the 80s. They was hitchhiking and shit. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
We just ignore that.
Yeah.
But why are you now acting like his mother lover? Like, what's happening here? You are kissing on this man. You are doing all these different things. Like, can I know your full name first? Like, can we chill? Like, I don't really understand.
Because old girl canceled a date to take care of him when he was sick. And I'm like, first of all, he was supposed to be sleeping on the couch. Why is he in your bed?
That.
First thing. Second thing, I'm not canceling my date for some random man who I just met 2 days ago to take care of him and give him his medicine. He's a grown man. He could take his own medicine.
He is not a vampire, for the record. He is not a vampire, for the record, so I wouldn't either.
At all. Also, when are we, as a society, going to let men deal with the consequences of their own behavior, mindset, actions? Okay, because it wasn't just them meddling into your life. I mean, yeah, that was a huge catalyst, but it was because of your character that they picked on you, bitch. You know? Like, why are we forgetting that? That man, yes, he was down and out, but did he deserve to be down and out? Maybe. I don't know, maybe.
The answer to that question, Bobby, is never. Because according to a recent video that went viral like a couple of months ago, when they would do, how Jubilee be doing that, like sit at the table, this person versus this person. It was men versus women, and this man was talking about all of these things about how they can't do certain things and how certain things are being taken away and da da da. And then the woman was like, "Okay, but who made that system?"
Okay, period. Because who did
it? Quiet.
Silence, and then they cut to the next question.
And they cut. So at the end of the day, it's not going to happen because they're going to blame us, even though we didn't make the system that they are in. They might have made the system themselves. They might not even benefit from all the benefits, but your species, your male species did that. So you need to, okay. Secondly, I think we need to get maybe to some highlights.
LOL. LOL,
sorry.
Maybe we need to, I have highlights.
I do too.
Yeah, same. I mean, I have a few.
Okay, yeah. I have, my first one, Giancarlo being movies.
Giancarlo, that was mine.
He keep a check. I said, I know Bobby see her man. I know Bobby see her man.
He is just, listen, from like early days up until, late 90s, early 2000s, the face card.
Resume.
He got the face.
I was like, okay, Juan. Giancarlo
Esposito.
So
Despacito. Yeah. Also, really love. I don't really remember why he said this now, but when he said Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn, I said that's hilarious.
that was funny. I did think about you.
Yeah.
As a Capricorn, I see it. I was
But I
like,
don't think he's behaving like, I don't know. I feel
Mhm.
like a Capricorn may not find themselves in this.
Okay, we talking about male
Well,
versus female Capricorn. We talking
I
about
was
male
gonna say
versus
maybe
female
not
Capricorn.
an evolved Capricorn because
Capricorns are very as a resident Capricorn, we are very self-interested. Not in like an ego way, but very much like if it don't work for me, I'm not doing it way. And I can absolutely see him doing the con artist thing.
yes,
Because let's not forget, thou who shall not be named. Our Voldemort of Capricornianism is a Capricorn. Okay. He is currently in federal prison and we don't play his songs. He was able to finagle his way into certain situations and have power to do certain things. So I can we have probably the best scale of Capricorn, which is like Michelle Obama or Morris Chestnut, my birthday twin. And then we have the worst, Voldemort, who shall not be named. So when he said that, Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn, I said, and that checks out. Honestly, it's giving more Leo, but I'll take Capricorn for this particular situation.
I would say it could be giving it could be giving Leo, yes. However, part of me also sees a little Gemini in there.
Yeah.
I see the Gemini because that man talked to that much, and he, he's talking himself to hold. Aquarius. Yes.
Yeah. They're very self-involved people. They're very self-involved people, and it would make sense why he didn't see somebody playing him. Take that how you feel.
It just is what it is. We don't make the rules.
We don't make the rules.
Give it up to the stars.
I'll tell you. So I'm gonna be honest. That was my last. No, I did like when he was getting. I don't know if it was when he was getting arrested or when the dude. No, it was a dude in jail. Maybe. Because above that note, I said he don't feel like he was being kidnapped when they all like tried to when all the police and everything came out of nowhere. I was like, you don't feel like you're getting kidnapped and going somewhere. But when he saw the dudes from the jail again in the bar and they called him a motherfucker, he was like, motherfucker.
Oh, that was funny.
I said, and I'm stealing that. I said, and I would be saying that in every day. Motherfucker. What? What?
That was good.
He kind of hit. Murphy is doing his thing in this, I must say.
This movie, Eddie Murphy and his comedy and his humor, for me, made up for whatever Boomerang was. And I know y'all liked it.
Not Boomerang. Was it Boomerang?
He was in Boomerang, right?
Is that the name of it?
Remind me what Boomerang was about?
The one that, yeah, Boomerang, Eddie Murphy, right there.
Oh,
the one,
sorry.
He ended up with Halle Berry at the end.
I was thinking of the Martin Lawrence movie that we didn't really like. No, that you didn't really like, that we liked.
Oh, yeah, that was mixing up in my head.
Okay, wait. I think I also got them mixed up. Never mind. Anyway.
I think it was that one. I think that was the one you didn't like.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I still don't like it. It's is it not Two Can Play That? What's it called?
A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
A Thin Line Between Love and Anyway.
Oh.
Sorry, we don't have to go back.
She didn't like it.
We don't have to go back down that road. But you know what? I will say, if I'm gonna keep the thing, whatever. Eddie Murphy's humor and his comedy made up for the second half of Boomerang not being good. I'll just say that. I think Eddie Murphy is very talented. Like, and the more that we're watching these older movies, especially with these high profile people, the more I'm like, yeah, it's all adding up. It's making sense. I wrote down a quote and now I'm mad because I can't remember the context of it. He said, "Ah, I can't believe it. First Moses, then this Jesus, or whatever." It was funny. And I don't remember the context of it. But yeah, something else that made me laugh, highlight. He said, "Is there a lawyer in this house?" And all the white
No, they all
looked away.
He said,
That was funny.
huh.
Yeah.
I said,
And
honestly,
yeah,
8 down.
that was good. That is, and then I have a note about the titties, the boobs. In this movie, we're just flying everywhere. And I said, oh, yes, it's the 80s. But you know, who doesn't love boobs?
They
Everyone's,
were sad.
everyone
Yeah.
loves boobs.
Period.
So I was like, yeah, sure. That's
get it.
my highlights.
I had two. So the first one was Giancarlo Esposito because I was like, oh my God, what's he doing here? Right. And then the second one was when I think it was like his first day in the house and he was taking a bath in the jacuzzi or whatever.
Oh,
And
yes.
the butler leaves and then he starts singing. And when I was listening to him sing and I was like, oh my God, this is Donkey. Like he's been Donkey from the jump.
Oh,
Like
No lie. Also, when he in that scene when he said that they get jacuzzis when they fart, I said that's funny. That's really funny. That's really black. That's really
so
like. Was I the only person who was watching that scene and I felt like he was actually naked in the jacuzzi?
He was naked, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was naked.
Like fully naked. Like
yeah.
Didn't need to be naked. Like
at all.
Underwear. But was
about that.
But
right.
he was naked. And at that point we had already seen at least 2 or 3 people's boobs. So I was like, well, I mean, what else?
I was trying to figure it out a lot. Yeah. He was, because like that scene, like I was like, first of all, is he naked? But then like the F word just kept flying, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I was
that
like,
was another thing.
Source of comedy is calling somebody that, and then he said fart, and then I was laughing, and then he would, I mean, but also the jacuzzi seemed very shallow to be a jacuzzi.
Like bump it up a little bit.
This is not a jacuzzi. This is a bathtub with whirlpool. This is not enough. Yeah. Also, am I the only person who thought that like they were going to completely switch his life around to the point where the fiance was going to be with him?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're going, because I was like, how are they going to get her to go along with it? I do think it was messed up that she ended up being one of his homeboys. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
She kept saying, Todd said, and I was like, who is Todd? Like, who is this Todd? And then we saw Todd, and he was like, first of all, that was so rude when he went to the country club or wherever they were at, and he was asking them for a loan, and he's like, you're embarrassing all of us. I was like, ooh, that's not very nice.
You are not in that social club anymore, baby.
No. That whole song really was quite, this is like people who like play lacrosse and things. I was like, is this what y'all did back in the day? Like in these country clubs, you did quartets and sang, and
it was so stale. Like, where is the flavor?
We know why the flavor wasn't there. I mean, the dude who was the bass, he was giving flavor. He was giving them notes. I said, oh, that's a good voice. I could see how
I was like, why are we singing? Like,
maybe that's too rich for me. That's
maybe
too rich for Brie, because I don't know.
Their day singing in quartets. That's what happens.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm glad. I had no idea what was happening during the stock brokerage thing, but I'm glad it worked. Zero degrees of knowing what was happening, but it worked. I thought it was funny.
I was trying to go back to when I watched The Wolf of Wall Street. I was like, okay, what did Jordan Belfort teach us not to do? I think it was that.
Because I really was trying to understand, and I'm like, I know that the floor is crazy, whatnot, but how is it that everyone was just randomly shouting stuff, people writing stuff down, and then now they're talking to Eddie Murphy's character like, I want to sell, I mean, I want to buy, and I'm like, well, why are they in charge now? Like, I don't.
So okay, this is why I understand this part. Basically, you have stocks,
right?
And the undercover guy was going to give them a letter, which was read on TV, about how well the oranges were going to do wherever it was growing.
Right.
But however, they gave them a piece of paper that said the opposite. So they ran their stocks based off of that. But once they had put it on TV that it was the opposite, I believe maybe Eddie Murphy and the other dude had the stocks that equal to what they saw on TV that were going up, like the companies who were actually going to like get money during the orange juice season, which was also just like, what the fuck are we talking about? Why are we orange? Like,
literally, we were talking about pork bellies at the beginning. I was like, what the fuck
is this? Is old money stuff. Okay, I ain't
this is so rich
now.
This is so wealthy.
What it reminded me of how there's this show on Netflix and it's about like the Asian people, the like super duper rich Asian people. And one of the girls was the daughter of the man who owns denim.
Wait, is it a reality show?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, is it the one with the jewelry people?
Probably.
Okay.
One of the people on there, it was the daughter of the man who owns the production of denim in the world. Like not a brand, like the fabric.
Denim. Wow.
That's what this reminded me of. I was like, you talking. That's
different rate.
I don't have enough money to think about. Like, I can't think that far. Like,
right.
Own denim.
That's a little too rich for me to conceptualize.
Orange juice was hot in the 80s. Okay, that was the breakfast staple. So when
I still love me a good orange juice.
I was like, y'all are talking about the base elements of things. You know how rich you gotta be to be owning the base elements of things?
True.
So okay. I guess it was like, okay. Because here's my thought. Remember back when I was like, I had a great time watching this movie. Da-da-da-da. When we talk about stuff in the podcast, I want listeners to really understand. Okay. Because hear me out. In the beginning, I am going off of 3 notes that I took. And I remember what happens in this movie as we talk. And I'm like, wow, maybe I wasn't really having a great time when I was,
watching. I mean, if nothing else, it was engaging. Like,
right. But I'm like, I must retract my statement where I said I was having a great time. I have to retract it. Because
like they were so racist.
So
homophobic.
Very.
This movie did not age well at all. This is not a movie that you now show your 9-year-old nephew.
No.
You just don't. No. Maybe back then.
What was the rating for this?
Let's see.
That's a good question. Rated R. Oh, no. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. No, it was rated R.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Like, you can't show the children blackface, so sure.
You can't.
Yeah.
And I'm still okay. So like the blackface happened, right? And I wrote down blackface, and I said, okay, well that's fine. Blackface. This one scene. By the next scene, it'll be gone, right? And then my next note is, oh, the blackface is still going. Okay. And then I'm like, no, it's gonna go away, right? And then the next scene, he's still in blackface. And then I wrote down, is the rest of the movie, is he just gonna be in blackface or what?
And honestly, I personally didn't care too much about the whole gorilla situation either.
I was just about to talk about that.
I was like, there's some innuendos here.
Yeah.
That I feel I feel like, okay, maybe everyone back then was just stupid. That's a possibility. Because are you gonna just tell me you can't tell the difference between an actual monkey, like an actual ape and a person in an ape mask that you just saw somebody walk around with? You gonna just tell me you don't know? I mean, the two dudes that worked for Amtrak was like the equivalent of like Harold and Kumar. Like they were like high as shit probably. So you get an excuse, but the dock workers, y'all niggas don't get excuse. You telling me you can't take that that's a fucking mask, bro? Like, you want me to suspend my belief a little bit too much? You want me to suspend it? You're asking for too much. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm done. I can't.
Well, so guys, that was that. And now we're down to our final ratings of our season finale episode. I think it's
sorry, Bree, to cut you off, but what a movie to end on. I must say, this season has been a little rough. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, what happened to the glory days of fucking what? Boys in the Hood? Did we watch that this season, or was that last season?
That was this season.
Okay, what happened
to like the 5 heartbeats?
The 5 heartbeats.
The 5 heartbeats.
We watched
Did we do Last Holiday?
What? Last Holiday. We did Last Holiday.
Last Holiday.
Like, what happened to that? This season, listen,
I think all of our movies this season, except for the remake of Color Purple, were made prior to like 1995.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. This season we did a little bit more traditional, like actual movies. And I'm understanding that Trading Places was like one of those movies that Black people watch, but it's not a Black movie.
Yeah.
And I wish we had that context before we decided to pick this movie to watch.
Right. When I started the movie, and I'm like, I normally don't read descriptions. I normally don't look at the cast. I normally just go in blind. But I'm starting the movie. I'm watching the movie. I didn't see not one Black person like the first 5 minutes. So I'm Googling. I'm like, are there any other Trading Places movies? Is this a remake? Is there another one? Like, did we get the wrong Trading Places? Because I was just very confused. Like, where's the Black?
Eddie Murphy. That is the only thing.
And maybe a bellhop.
And the bellhop, or Bill Cobbs was in it. There are a couple of like older people, like older Black people that was in it when it came to like the butlers and stuff like that. But like this is not for us. But I can see how this type of comedy falls into that category that Black people like to watch that's from that decade.
Yes.
It's just like asking somebody why they like something from the 2000s. We know the 2000s was fucked up, but we had not had the future context to know, this is not going to be okay in 10 years, you know? So yes. I see why this is a classic to the older generation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think this could be respectfully remade.
Yes, I would go see it.
I would too.
I honestly think it deserves a remake.
It does.
And
I'm bad, but because we need to see this remade.
Right. I am the queen of saying not everything needs to be remade. Like, but this one specifically could actually be done well. Like I said, the theme is good. The plot, I see the vision, but a lot of things need to be tweaked in it. Maybe less racism, less blackface.
That's literally it.
Yeah, if we can build on that, then
and also well, never mind.
Also, although it goes into New Year's, not a holiday movie
at all.
There was like 2 Christmas trees,
and then it was New Year's. And I thought this was going to be more of like, because it's the money, people have their things that they like to do with the monies during the New Year's and their goals and stuff like that. Nope. Oh, he was 21. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, he looked it.
He was a baby.
That checks out because let's be honest, 21, he couldn't say no to how the script was written unless he just didn't want to get casted.
He didn't have the thought for that yet. So
that makes sense. And in 21 in 1983 at that.
83 on SNL.
Woo! So, he was on top of the world.
He was doing good stuff. He was doing there's not much he can do about it now. Somebody made an article. I'm just kind of like looking at stuff, and somebody made an article, and it's titled "Trading Places is way more racist and way less funny than I remembered."
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a bit concerned if you watched it when it first came out and you don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm a bit concerned if you don't see the issue with the movie now and majority of its plot. But anyway, ladies, the time has come to do our final ratings of the season. For Trading Places, what do you give this movie out of 5 hot combs?
Well, I'm gonna give it a solid 2 out of 5 hot combs. Both of those stars are for Eddie Murphy. That's it.
Fair.
Okay, I will also say,
Yes.
racism and blackface aside, I liked the plot generally. So maybe give that half a star.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, is that 2.5 or 2?
No, it's still 2, but it gets half a star.
I have to, because you gave Eddie Murphy 2 stars, so I have to.
Right. I'm now giving him 1.5 only because of the plot. But it's still the best part of this movie.
Oh. Got it. Well, what about you, Danielle?
Well, I am also giving it a 2 out of 5. Again, the plot, the themes were almost there. Like, it was just on the edge. If we had cut about 100% of some of the people's talking points, it would have been great. But, it's hard to overlook stuff like that. So I'm going to have to give it a 2. Again, retracting what I said in the beginning, I forgot a lot of the plots. I watched this very early in the morning. Anyways, but yeah, it's just Eddie did what he had to do. We're not going to fault him because, like we said, he was a baby at this time and he needed some work. Okay, so I'm not going to fault Eddie Murphy. I think his performance was good. And like you said, there's room to grow for this. I think he should do a remake of this and, just don't follow the same exact script. And that's all I will say.
I just told you about reading this, looking at this article about the person who said Trading Places is way more racist and less funny than I remembered. The person who wrote this, I'm going to assume, is a white man. And it has comments under it. And one of the comments is from a Black guy and told the author to relax. And that's why we are in the situation that we're in. Weakest links.
I was not expecting you to say that, honestly.
Well, honestly, I expect nothing less. They are usually the ones who are going to give people the okay to be racist, sexist, classist, homophobic for a laugh. They're usually the ones who excuse bad behavior so they can be accepted. I think it's quite crazy that this person reviewed this about a year ago and said that you need to relax and you're a Black man. And this is why they make fun of us. With that being said,
yeah,
this movie is going to get a 2 from me. And again, we cannot rate this as 50-year-old Black men. Okay? We cannot rate this as a 40-year-old white person. We are Black female zillennials or Black women zillennials. I don't want y'all thinking y'all can say female. I said it in the correct context, but y'all can't say it. We are Black women who are zillennials watching this today in 2024 after the most insane year, okay, for politics. Yeah, the movie aged badly. If you don't think the movie aged badly, you probably have the humor of a 12-year-old boy. I think I have the humor of a 12-year-old boy sometimes. I'm looking at this comment and they said that they laughed at the whole, when the dude asked him if he would like a jacuzzi, and he said that was a gay term, that was the joke. And the person said they thought it was funny, not because it was derogatory, but because comedy in 1982 was different. Okay, so sure, if that's what we're calling it. Yeah, this movie, wouldn't rewatch.
Never.
Wouldn't rewatch. I mean, if you want to watch it, I'm not gonna tell you not to watch something. Go crazy, I guess. If you just feel like you have to watch it, the answer is no.
Yeah.
The answer is this movie. Yeah, we can only rate it as the generation that we are. I think expecting us to rate movies like this or like Shaft or movies that came out clearly way before we were born, made way differently. I mean, honestly, and I'll put this on the record, Shaft was better than this. And we rated Shaft lower.
We did.
I rewatched Shaft in a heartbeat over this movie.
Yep. Easy. For the mustache.
For the mustache, the couch sex.
Calendar in the back.
And you know what?
Molotovs.
And we got comments on that one, and they was dragging us, talking about
Y'all still drag us.
And you know what? Drag us again.
Drag us again.
Because if it makes you feel better, I would raise my Shaft thing just after seeing this. And y'all know blaxploitation is my least liked era. I understand what blaxploitation does for the community and what it did for history. But this is not a movie made for me. And if you laugh with it, you probably have a little isms with you. I mean, we all laughed. There was some funny points in it. But if you a Black person laughing at blackface, you're lost. Yeah. You're a lost person. That's all I can say.
I feel really bad for you, honestly.
It's okay to grow. It's okay to grow. It's okay to be a better person. No one's gonna strike you down. If anything, you might get let in. You might get let in. Ooh. So,
and if you don't tell the truth today, Bree,
you might get let in. Okay. So that was our season finale. Season 3.
All right.
Thank you for watching this great season finale. It was so fun. Thanks for listening again. My name is Brianna.
My name is Bobby.
My name is Danielle.
And, if you haven't already done so, please follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We also have multiple social media outlets that are also going to be in the links below. Throw us a like, share this episode. Leave in the comments, have you seen Trading Places? Did you see it when it came out? Have you rewatched it? What were your thoughts then versus now? And, we're always open, even though y'all drag us when we don't like the movies that some people like. We're always open to hear your perspective of how you feel, because we weren't there during that time. It was a different time. Different things were accepted, and we have to be open to learning. We put ourselves out here on this great show to show how many movies we haven't seen. So trust me, we know a little bit about vulnerability. So let us know. We want to know, how did you feel about Trading Places? And do you think there should be a sequel? Also, let us know what movies you want to see for season 4. Okay? 4 seasons. 4. That's crazy. Like,
on to preschool.
Oh,
crazy. Like, we're gonna graduate. Okay. Let us know what you want to see in season 4. Take a look at our playlist, see what we've already done. We know there's a bajillion movies we still haven't seen, so we are open to watching those movies, and you may even get a shout out. So again, thank you so much for watching The Box Office, season 3 at the Hot Cones of Popcorn podcast. And as you guys know, after every episode, we usually are running into the house, but this time we might walk. I think this time we might get in the house before the street lights come on. But nevertheless, our mamas don't care, and we still got to get into the house. So we'll see you guys next time, next season, same time, same place. Bye.
Bye.